Good evening, guys. This is Leffinen coming to you with another video. This video is going to be entirely about dragon, like the dragon that you have in your city, how to advance it, how to feed it, how to update it, how to do everything with it. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know, exactly how to do it, what it costs in order to go through and update him and everything, or her. I mean, depending upon the gender of what you designate. So let's go through and take a look at our dragon first. Okay, so when you get guardsman level 2, you will see that they are like, oh, Ingrid went through and brought back this fun little, thing and everything is sitting over here. And it's a dragon. So your dragon is basically an extra boost. Your dragon will go through and give you different things and bonuses, whether or not it's army strength, strength against other players, leadership, so you can bring bigger armies, authority, dominance, experience points. It'll give you more valor points. So there's a bunch of different things that our dragon does. Oh, it also gives you more in conquest points. Yeah, I think that was all of it. All right. So, anyways, as you can see, this dragon is now completely maxed out. So by the end of it, you'll get a 25% boost in conquest points, valor points, experience, all that stuff. Sorry, take a little bit to scroll. Okay, so here's how you do the progress of it and everything. And I'm going to show you on also my other account and everything under Totally because of the fact that this one's max, so it's going to show you a very different screen than the other ones. You can see up here at the very top, you can see that I do have extra dragon orbs because I wasn't sure how many I needed. And then I also have extra food for the dragon in order to be able to feed it. This is the size that it eventually gets to at the very end of it. It's massive and it's also a darker color. It will be more of a maroon, black, mixed together and everything. So a lot of times what I do is when I used to have it to where I was worried about player versus player and somebody attacking me, I would look at the color and the size of the dragon that was going across the map, and I'd be able to tell just how strong the other player was based upon that. So for me, it's to where like if you see a dark red and slightly black tinted dragon and everything, run for cover. You're about to get messed up. They're going to be a big, huge army. All right. So with that being said, let's go through and switch on over to my Totally account so that this way you can go through and see it. And it's going. There we go. All right. So with this, we have it to where right now we're looking at the different sales and stuff that are going on. There are different ways that you can go through and feed your dragon and go through and like, help it out. So this one is called Feed Your Dragon, and you get a certain amount of stuff as a part of it. Like I don't get me wrong. Initially, when I played this game, I did this because I couldn't figure it the heck out. Then once I figured it the heck out, then I was just like, oh, that was stupid of me. All right. So with that being said, we have our city currently, and let's go on down to our dragon. This one, he is pretty good. He's not all the way there. Okay, so right now I'm up at like level 277. Once you get up in the into the higher levels, trust me, it takes a while for you to go through and level up your dragon. At first, it's like, oh man, I got him up 10 levels. This is gonna be quick, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's not. All right, so this one I called him Thorn. The other one was Charizard. Yeah, my son goes through and names them and everything, so be it. Anyways, with that being said, here's how you go through and you feed it. So you will accrue these stakes, right? Based upon you fighting epic level monsters. So whenever you fight an epic level monster, right? Because I'm gonna probably end up doing it or whatever. And let's see. Oh, you know what I can do? I could show you the one from yesterday. Bear with me a second, guys. Not that, not that. Fought a bunch of snowmen. Do you want to kill a snowman? Does it want to come out and play? All right. Anyways, oh, there it is. Cool. Epic Inferno Squad, blah blah blah. Okay, so you can see from the battle report when I went through and I fought the Hydra, the Armageddon epic level monster. Anytime that you ever fight an epic level monster, for every single Valor point that you get 1/10 of that in basically food for the dragon. So if you take the number like 10.8 billion and you go through and cross out a zero or whatever, that is exactly what you get in the food for the dragon. He gets 1/10 of the amount of food or the amount of valor points in food. So if you're trying to figure out like how do I go through and feed this thing, how do I get it bigger? The first thing is you got to fight the epic level monsters. In order to build in this game, it's the best way in order to go through and do this. So make sure that you fight epic level monsters in order to be able to level up your dragon. Is you're going to get these stake looking things out of it. And as you can see, the dragon never dies. No matter whether or not you win or lose a fight, the dragon will never die. So don't worry about like, oh, if I don't feed him, then he's going to basically go through and like shrivel up or no, that doesn't happen. The other aspect about the dragon is the going from one level evolution to the next. So I think it's like level 1, 20, level 25, level 50, level 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. So at first, it's, when you first get the dragon, he's at level 1 and he's at evolution standing number 1. He's like a little baby. And then he goes through and he's like, like 8 years old. And then he's like a pretty grown teenager. And he starts to get a little bit older and older as he goes. Right now, he's looking pretty fit. He's like a 50-year-old. But anyways, so every single time that you go from one level evolution to the next, like when you hit level 25 or level 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, you have to go through and have a thing called dragon orbs. So see these eye-looking things or whatever that are on here? You can go through and earn those in different ways. So the very obvious one and everything like that, you can always go through and buy them. Like anytime that you ever get to the next level of like one evolution to the next, like at 250, it came up with a mini sale that was all to the right hand side that was like, hey, would you like to buy, this, that, like, as far as the dragon orbs goes. And it's a ×2, which is pretty good. The other thing about it that you can always go through and do under Triumphal Challenge, this is the best bang for buck. Just showing you. You don't have to do it. I don't advise a lot of people to do it, but sometimes you desperately need it. If you go to the very end of the Triumphal sales, then now that does mean that you have to buy every single one along the way. So this is more like for people that are willing to spend a dang good bit of money on this, or they do it to where it's like, hey, 1 month I'm going to do Triumphal sales all the way through. It would be a really, really fast growing month for you. Because as part of it, you're getting parts for Hercules, you're getting it to where you're leveling up Hercules, and you have multiple chances in order to do this. Like improve your captain, you can get 150 pieces. In the very beginning, you get the 80 pieces. So you're at 230, and then at the very end of this, you're getting another 300 pieces. So you're getting 530 pieces towards Hercules in order to basically get him leveled up. If you never had him before, then, yeah, it's a good way to do it. But at the end of the entire sales is this one Dragon Evolution ×4. $250, and you get 100,000 in Dragon Orbs. Now, just so that you know, if you look under sales, it only gives you 25,000 for $250. So this is a much, much better way to spend money. Like if you're getting high into the levels of the dragon, like let's say you get to 200 or 250 or 300, the only way that you are ever going to get enough dragon orbs is you're probably going to have to spend money or you're going to have to wait for frickin' ever. So this is one way to do it. You can also go through and as part of the shop, you have to get to a certain level and you can get dragon orbs as a part of that. And it says level required is like level 200. So I'll get there soon enough and everything. Right now I'm sitting on 145. Yeah, by the end of this month, I'll definitely be up at 200. So this way you can get the dragon orbs as a part of that. You can also get them in other ways, like if you trying to think of how to show you. Okay. If you're playing on the PC, it's under Union of Triumph. And there's these chest things that are right here, the selection chest, resource selection chest. As part of it, they do have dragon orbs in there, so that's another way for you to be able to do it. I don't think they have, oh, they do have them in the shop too. So you can use these things in order to go through and get the dragon orbs that way. And then there's also different challenges that they'll give you through the course of the day. Like, if we're looking at, whatchamacallit? Oh, they already pulled them out. But yesterday it was to where with the Armageddon epic, every single time that I basically killed or got fragments and everything, I was also going through and getting like dragon evolution or whatever. And it had it to where like I could get dragon orbs through that way. So there is multiple different ways that you can go through and get it. Another way to get dragon orbs also through the triumphal sales. And one of them was called not that one. Not that one. Valuable resources times 2. They have it the valuable resources times 2. They also have it as valuable resources times 3. And when you're picking, one of the options is going to be the dragon orbs as a part of it. So you can get dragon orbs in multiple different places in this game. Don't think it's to where it's like, oh, I only can do the sales that cost me $250. It's not the only way, guys. But with your dragon, the good thing about what your dragon does is it will make your attacks both stronger. You can also bring more troops. So let me show you an example of that. And we're just going to go up against a lower level, I'm not going to care as far as who the heck it is. So let's say, for instance, I was to bring Carter, right? He's not the highest level in the world. Let's say that I hit, oh, it says I can't bring the dragon on this march. Okay. I know what to do. Let's go through this for the dragon. So under the for the dragon part, whenever you go through and have it to where you're fighting a common or a rare level monster, the dragon will only accompany you if it's a strong enemy. If it's not strong enough, the dragon will not be allowed to come along. So then at that point, so we got 37 rare or 45 common. Let's just pick the 45 common. I'm not actually going to do it because I don't have strong enough troops in order to do that right now. But let's say that I pick them. Okay, so I can have it to where, like, let's say I was going to do the fight and everything. I'm just going to go through and load up where I'm not bringing the dragon. Okay, so we already hit our max level. Let's add the dragon in. I could bring more troops. So the dragon adds leadership that you could therefore go through and use in order to bring a bigger army. So the dragon is a worthwhile thing. If you have it to where you're fighting, trying to remember the event. Yeah, it's not going on right now. Let's see if I can find it. Aha! The Great Hunt. A lot of clans on the middle level and everything like that, or lower level, they do the Great Hunt, which is a decent idea because it does help the clan out and everything. It doesn't help the player out very much, but it does help the clan out a lot. As part of the Great Hunt, you have it to where you get these lists of different things, of different monsters that you could go through and fight. And you got to be strategic about like which ones you hit and all. Because like if you're going through and sending your dragon up against a common or rare level monster, it will use up a certain amount of the dragon's energy every single time. The dragon could go up against epic millions of times. It's unlimited or whatever. But the dragon, whenever he goes up against, or she goes up against a common or a rare level monster, it's to where they have a limit to the amount that they can do. So let's look back at our dragon again. With our dragon, it has a certain amount of energy that it can go through and use. And this one, where does it show it? I know on the phone it's so like I'm so used to my phone that it's kind of ridiculous. Oh, here it is down here. So it says 30 produced every single hour, and every single time that you attack, it uses 50. So the dragon has 750, so it can do basically 15 different monsters before it runs out of energy. Now, granted, every single minute of every single hour, it's producing like zero point 0.5 of energy towards it. So, in order for it to completely recharge up to 750, it would basically need 1,500 minutes, which is roughly 25 hours. I think I did my math correctly. Yeah, 25 hours. So the dragon does take a darn good bit of time in order to get all the way back up to where he's good. It's meant to basically be to where you're not going around and killing an entire map worth of common and rare level monsters and relying upon the dragon for it. That's basically what the idea behind it is. To where, hey, even the dragon has a limit, can't use it constantly. Now, up against epics, though, you can use it continuously. Now, the good thing about, like, if you look at the bonuses that the dragon is going through and giving you, now, granted, on my other count, it's 160 because it's completely maxed. This is at 144. But every single time that the dragon goes up a level, it has it to where it's going to increase. And I'll say, like, army strength 144 goes to 148 if I get on up to level 278. And then it will switch to, okay, now we're going to strength against another player. Now we're going to do conquest points. Now we're going to do experience points or whatever. And every single time that you level your dragon up, it's going to have it to where you gain something out of it, a certain percentage towards any one of these. So your dragon does have a huge amount of bonus that it can go through and give you and all. You'll notice that it gets darker and bigger as it grows up and everything. Like my dragon's tail for my max is all, or for my main is all the way the heck out here, where this one is only like right here. When it's a baby, it's sitting on this like little circular area and it doesn't go past it. So you can kind of like look in the game. Like what I'll do is, just for craps and giggles, let's take a look at it. We're going to look at a player that's sending an attack up against Arachne, and then you can kind of tell what level of player it is. So, granted, you're going to have to wait because I don't know how long this line is going to be. It's going towards it, so it should be relatively quickly. But you can kind of get a good idea as far as like, okay, this player is probably this big based upon their dragon that they're going through and sending. You can't tell by the avatar that they're sending it with, but you can tell based upon the dragon. So, like when I was in my old clan, back in Kingdom 113, I would go through and basically look at the dragon that was approaching with the army, and I would say to my clan, like, oh, this person's weak or whatever, based upon the dragon color and then also the size of the dragon. So you can get a decent idea. Like, okay, so this is a small level dragon. Zoom in. I bet you this player probably has a hero at like maybe 50. They're not that bad. They're not that big. If you go through and you'll see like, well, let's give it a second. But we could probably see somebody that's bigger coming at it. Oh, this one is a bigger dragon and everything, the old one, but oh, even bigger one. And look at the color difference. That one was more of like a reddish orange. This one's more of a red. So that one is probably like at 200, 250 or something like that. So a bigger level player. And if you're at 200, 250, you're probably G7, G8. So you get a decent idea as far as like, oh my gosh, the person that's coming up against me is strong or weak or whatever. With that being said, I think, guys, that covers everything about dragons that you really need to know. I hope that you learned something out of it. This one, look at the color, look at the size between these two. This one's bigger, right? You kind of get the idea on, hey, I can look at who's coming in and be able to tell, like, whether or not I should be like, oh my gosh, please help me, or hey, I'm good type of thing. But anyways, I hope you guys learned something out of this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please go through and subscribe. If you want to subscribe, it doesn't really matter. I do this mainly to help you guys, not to go through and exploit anything out of it. And then if you want to go through and contact me, you can always go through and message Leffinen or Tolly in Kingdom 100. And that's a good way to be able to get a hold of me. Hopefully you guys learned something out of this. And other than that, that is all for this video. And I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.